He's right. Viewer discretion is advised. I mean, I already said it, but.
Viewer discretion.
And then he said it, and then I said it, and then he said it again, and then I'm saying it now once again. Viewer discretion is advised.
The dismissal bell rang at Oliver Stevens School in Woodstock, Ontario, and hundreds of grade schoolers were seen leaving the premises.
Dude, this
One 8-year-old was captured on surveillance, leaving 2 minutes later than the rest, as she had to run back inside to get her mother's butterfly earrings that were left on her desk. Her name was Tori Stafford, and on that Wednesday afternoon, she never returned home. She was reported missing by her grandmother at exactly 6:04 p.m., and a missing persons investigation was launched immediately. Roughly 7 hours later, surveillance footage from a local high school was discovered, capturing what police say was the missing child, walking side by side an unidentified woman. Tori did not appear to be struggling in the video, and the woman was described as between 19 to 25 years of age, white, 5'2", and about 125 pounds with a black ponytail.
Bro, Jesus fucking Christ,
appeal
man.
for the woman in the video to come forward, and Tori's grandparents offered a $10,000 reward for her return. A Facebook group dedicated to finding her gained over 20,000 followers in under 24 hours. On April 12th, four days after her disappearance, hundreds gather in Woodstock at 8 p.m. to hold a vigil for Tori, and her mother makes a tearful televised appeal for the return of her missing daughter. Over the following week, Tori's parents are interviewed by investigators, and each of them pass a polygraph test. Police call off ground searches 6 days after the child's disappearance after finding no clues nor leads. The day after, America's Most Wanted features Tori's case as its top story. On April 17th, the Ontario Provincial Police take the lead in the investigation, and the ground searches recommence. The case was then officially classed as an abduction, not just a missing person. They step up a media campaign by releasing
You know, sometimes the media and shows have bad impacts on stuff or whatnot, right? That is actually cool. I don't know how much it impacted, but I think this is actually kind of sick. That sometimes real things unlock and become easier or better just based on that.
Features Tori's case as its top story. On April 17th, the Ontario Provincial Police take the lead in the investigation, and the ground searches recommence. The case was then officially classed as an abduction, not just a missing person. They step up a media campaign by releasing a composite sketch of the woman in the video, and then circulate the image on social media and local news outlets. On May 19th, police attain information that the woman is 18-year-old Terry Lynn McClintock, who is already in custody for breaching a probation order for a previous drug violation. She was transferred to the Ontario Police Headquarters and interviewed at roughly 5:30 p.m. by Detective Sergeant Jim Smith. She initially denied being the woman in the video and claimed to know nothing about the missing girl, but roughly 45 minutes into the interrogation, she breaks.
I think it goes right back to what you said a few times. You didn't want to see it, okay? But that doesn't change the fact that you saw it, okay? And that's what you need to be truthful.
Wait. Okay, I'm not gonna do it. It's about.
I know it's even harder to talk about.
I'm gonna stop.
Part of it, okay? But you saw it, okay?
Oh, my camera's perfect right there, actually.
And we need to talk about.
I'm not moving it.
What?
When I seen Mike with Tori on his lap, like I turned my head because I didn't want to see it. I could hear him calling my name.
What the fuck?
Tell me what happened.
She describes in disturbing detail the abduction and killing of Tori Stafford, stating that she lured the girl into a secluded parking space with the promise of showing her a puppy. She was then forced into the back seat of a vehicle that immediately drove away. In the driver's seat was 28-year-old Michael Rafferty, who then drove to a secluded area about 100 miles north of Woodstock. He then proceeded to sexually assault and then murder the 8-year-old, with the fatal injuries being 4 strikes to the head with a claw hammer. McClintock drew a rough sketch of the area where Tori was killed, which eventually led police to discover the girl's remains. She was found with lacerations to her liver and 16 broken ribs, but her eventual cause of death correlated with Terry's testimony, as was confirmed to be the result of repeated blows to the head with a blunt object. At 7:55 p.m. that evening, Michael Rafferty is arrested and informed that he is being charged with kidnapping and first-degree murder. He is read his rights and then brought to the police headquarters for immediate interrogation.
I hope they don't fuck up the case.
Get back into this
somehow. I'm not even gonna bother with the TLD on this one. This one is.
Well, you grab a chair.
No thanks.
That'll unfold. So that's a blanket for you there. Okay. Tea. I think they might have only put 1 sugar in. I think they got it mixed up. And there's a plain donut there for you. I had a cereal bar, but hungry or anything else, just let me know, okay? Do you have any, you have eaten since noon? Okay, are you hungry now? I can get you a full meal if you want. Bacon and eggs, or do you want something else?
I'm too sick to talk.
Okay.
This is ridiculous.
That's okay. You can listen. And if you have any questions as we go along,
Dude,
no issues
fuck
there
this
at all,
guy.
okay? I got a few things I'll
Is that a
talk to you
shock
about.
blanket?
As I told you, my name is.
I didn't see what is it. Is that like a blanket for shock? What is that?
No, it's
Chris.
just like
Last name's Lone. I understand your name is Mike.
it's like an
And you
emergency
go by Mike
blanket,
or
probably.
Michael, what's your preference?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, I'll probably call you Mike, so unless that really offends you, just leave it with me. I'm gonna go over a few things here today, okay, Mike? Like I say, don't be shy. You'll find I'm pretty relaxed, pretty laid back, because I've dealt with these issues before.
The Ontario Provincial Police have a highly trained behavioral sciences unit, and their subdivision of forensic psychiatry is recognized as one of the best in the world.
Okay.
At first, you will see the familiar strategy of rapport development. The investigator will retain a friendly and almost nonchalant disposition throughout the opening phase of the interrogation. The perception of solidarity and respect will make the suspect
more
more
distractions.
likely to cooperate and take things into consideration, while the detective's easygoing disposition will also downplay the severity of the crime, thus making the gravity of admission far less intimidating.
The severity.
All right? Don't be shy. Now,
I know since I'm an idiot, it took a while to look at the hairline. You
know
don't have to do that to him, bro. That's disrespect.
Oh, I would get a
But my job is, as I mentioned to you earlier,
To be fair though, he deserves all the fucking,
maple
all
syrup
the,
donuts.
all the disrespect.
Staff we were missing. I know you were
Tim
following a
Hortons.
little bit in the
No,
media.
hairline isn't why he did it.
Follow
No,
some
no,
of
no,
the
no,
bits and
no, no.
pieces that there was behavioral sciences people involved, right?
If
Sometimes
it-
they
That's the
were,
juice.
criminal profilers. There's been other members in there as well. Threat assessment, and that's what.
Dude, what the fuck is
One
this?
of my roles is as well.
What
In
is
threat
this?
assessment? What my job is to determine the risk. Okay, what's the risk of a certain situation? Now, the situation that we're talking about is you're going to find here that there's nothing that you're going to tell me to surprise me. Okay, for two reasons. One, I've heard a lot of this stuff before. The second reason is I'm fortunate
going
enough
cam
to
right
know
below
what
X now.
all the case facts are. Okay, so what I have to do is assess.
Why is he crying?
What I perceive.
Because
as
he's a fucking
so I'm
bitch.
gonna go out and kill more people after this situation is done. Okay, that's what my job is, to assess threat level. All right, I already know you're responsible for one.
Same reason why he fucking
Okay.
murdered a
So that's what my job is to determine
fucking child.
what's happening.
Don't
All right.
don't get it twisted. Most of these people, if not all of them, they don't cry because they feel for the victim.
No,
but
they're
they feel
crying
the
for
vic-
their own
because
self.
they think about the actions, about the.
They're crying because of what's
children
gonna
that
happen
they
to
hurt.
them.
They cry because they got caught, and they cry because they're about to face the consequences. That's the
Yeah.
only reason they cry. And the only way
Obviously.
you're gonna hear them say anything else while they're crying, they're just wedging in. They're just gonna be wedging in all the trash while they're crying to make it seem legitimate. And it's
Staff
the poor
Sergeant
attempt.
Chris Loam had been a police officer for over 21 years and
Very
was a member
true.
of the Behavioral Sciences Unit for the last 17. At the time
Fucking
this
bummer.
interrogation took place, he was the head of the analysis section. This meant he was in charge of criminal profiling, threat assessment, and forensic psychiatry. He indicates that his only purpose is to assess the suspect's threat level, yet this variety of threat assessment is only applied to less severe infractions. With relation to rape and murder, the serious nature of the crime means that the threat level is already assessed long before any form of psychoanalysis takes place. In reality, the investigator's primary purpose is to gain an understanding of the suspect's character and then use this knowledge to try and influence both his reasoning and decision-making.
Before we go through all that, though, my people just don't wake up one day and decide this is going to happen, and I know that. All right. So there's a lot of ideas that go in people's heads at the time, and if I go through, and I go through your history and your background, there's not a whole hell of a lot you've been involved in life, is there? Right? You're completely under the radar. Anyways, I'm going to go through a few things with you here. All right. Obviously, you're upset by what's going on. You're here for a reason. And right back at the beginning, the investigators and the case manager, the officer in charge, said that I'm going to follow the evidence and go where the evidence leads me. Okay? And now you're here because the evidence has led the investigators to you.
Cousin,
all right?
cousin, I don't give a shit. Can you guys something else? Can you guys fill this spam? Holy shit.
And I get involved after that. There's been people that I work with in behavioral sciences that have been here from the outset of the investigation. But really, at this point in time, I mean, when I go in and look at your history, there's very little on there. Like I say, you've flown under the radar. You haven't had any major problems with the police. Okay, but now all of a sudden you're involved in this situation, and it's a serious situation, and it's a scary situation. I'm sure you're quite upset and quite concerned about what's going on here. All right. Now the last one I was involved with, like this, I don't know if you're aware of it, was a girl named Holly Jones in Toronto.
I know this is completely off topic, but I was watching XQC and I saw he was about to dip, and I was wondering what he was dipping. I'm so happy it's ranch. Thank you, X, for being a normal human. You don't dip pizza in anything but fucking ranch, alright? And just saying, I know they're out there. If you're the type of person to dip pizza in fucking ketchup, alright? You do not deserve the right to even eat pizza. Okay, if you dip your pizza in fucking ketchup, okay? It'd be people that, I swear to God, motherfuckers be dipping their pizza in ketchup and then be complaining about how pineapple doesn't go on pizza. Like, what? There's no way. And they're out there. I know you motherfuckers are out there. Alright? There's no way you're going to dip your fucking pizza in ketchup and then complain about pineapples. Blown away. Blows my mind. Alright, let's get back into this. Watch this dip right here, though. Watch this dip right here, Chad. Look at this.
Now, the last one I was involved with, like this,
That looked like a good bite, bro. The crunch in the crust with some ranch. I'm with that.
And what he was doing is he was watching on his computer for hours and hours and hours. He was looking at child porn to the point that he decides, I want to go try this. And he goes and he grabs Holly and he does some things to her, and then he realizes, what am I going to do? Okay? And he panics. He doesn't know what to do because she's a witness now. And he says, if I just let her go, she's going to tell on me.
Jesus Christ, what the fuck is happening?
Right? And all that was from something as simple as watching child pornography for hours on end. These things happen, okay? And we can't say it happened close to home. Toronto's not that far from you.
Bro,
Okay?
holy fuck.
These things happen all the time, all right? So what I need to do is sit with you. I already know how. I know the who's, right? Why? I mean, why is up to you, but I can actually probably fill in that blank for you.
All the people that you timed out with the just give them promos. Honestly, I don't give a shit about any of these viewers. They're absolutely worthless.
That's not.
Just give them permas.
Assess. Risk,
Damn.
See, number one, do you even feel bad about what you've
I
done?
have the promos, to be honest.
First thing I look for. And number two, do I think, okay, he doesn't feel bad, so in turn he's probably going to do this again because he really doesn't care about it the first time it's happened. Okay? I'm not at all upset with you. I'm not mad at you.
That's fucking annoying.
I don't mind sitting here talking with you. You'll know if I don't want to talk to you because I'll just simply leave, right? From reading about you,
True.
this to me seems like it's out of character. Now, I could be wrong, right? You may have been playing this for a long period of time, and you may have thoroughly enjoyed this. And if I'm wrong, then you tell me that, all right? But I also know that we all make mistakes, okay? And that's why pencils have erasers, okay? Because we all make mistakes. It's that simple.
But pens. Now pens. Nah, because you could just get white out. Fuck.
Right.
Spending time with you here, and if I'm wrong, you tell me. But it looks like if you could turn back time, maybe there's a few decisions in life you'd made a little bit different. All right,
Guys, he's
If I could
But Sharpies. Now a Sharpie. Much more difficult to erase the mark.
turn back
Sorry,
time for
he's
you,
an investigator. He's
Like
just
I
playing with
will.
his mind. I mean,
but it's not that simple.
Well, of
okay?
course he is. Come
Now
on.
You and I have to sit here and face what's happened. Okay, I can sit and tell you what happened.
Fuck,
I can take
still
you
white
through
out.
the day of her disappearance. Okay, I mean I've seen the.
Alright, so now if you take some paint. Boom, boom, boom. Now you gotta redo the whole wall.
I've
Sorry.
seen the video,
Alright, sorry.
all right?
No more.
I know that you didn't do this alone, and but at the end of the day, we got to deal with this situation, okay? Because a young girl that we got to talk about, and if you and I don't sit and
Look,
talk
he's
about
still
your
crying.
side, then people will only think the worst, right? It's human nature, right? You've done it.
Ah, I
You always think
see.
the worst until
Wait,
we
wait,
know
wait,
the
wait.
facts,
Oh my God, X has subtitles on. Turn them
okay?
off!
You and I need to sit here and work and discuss and work through.
God damn it. It's okay.
Again, if I'm wrong, you tell me, okay? But I really believe if you could turn back time, you would deal with this a little bit different, okay? And there may have been a rush, it may have been exciting for a period of time, but then reality sets in. You have to sit and live with the fact of what's happened here, okay? And that's what we're doing here. We have to sit and deal with what's happened. Really, at this point, what you have left is your word and your credibility. And people always think the
TLDR, this absolute bum, degenerate, evil piece of shit, set up an abduction of a child, did some weird shit, and then killed her.
worst, okay? Until they know the truth. You do it and I do it.
And
It's
he's about to
human
get
nature.
clapped now.
So we're all going to think the worst until we know why this has happened in your mind. And again, if it's something where you're like Michael Briere, where you looked at a lot of child porn and then decided you were going to try it, then that's fine. If it wasn't your idea, then that's fine too. But we can't change what the case facts are. All right? And you know deep down that this is your chance to get it off your chest. You're not sitting there the rest of your life saying, I guess I should have said something. All right? I guess I should have got it off my chest and said my side. Because this is your last chance to do it.
Yes,
The fact
sir.
that you're here.
I'm about to get mad. Okay, listen. It's the guy's job isn't to appeal to you, the public, or to look good
No.
to anybody. The goal of this guy, his only job, what he studied, what he's paid for, and his expertise is getting what he needs
Just
as
let
this
him
guy
explain it.
to clap his cheeks. If he has to say that killing is good, then that's just how it is. If he has to say a bunch of bullshit, that's how it is. He doesn't try to make you happy. So whenever you say
He's only trying to.
no, actually that's
He's only trying to bring justice and find the facts.
he
of
said
the,
it's fine,
of
but
the
that's
case.
not fine. You're fucking stupid.
And the fact that they've already, they know where the victim is, okay, and they know your steps, this is it. You have to take the steps now to live the rest of your life, okay? This is what you have to do. You and I need to talk about this, okay?
It's always interesting to examine a suspect's demeanor while being interrogated, especially compared to how they most likely were while committing their violation. The suspect here is a quivering mess, acting like a helpless victim, wallowing in his own self-pity while vying
Yep.
for sympathy.
Yep.
Essentially the opposite of how he was while attacking Tori Stafford. It's ironic that the powerless and vulnerable complexion he is trying to portray here is exactly what his victim would have felt at the time she was attacked. The sympathy he is trying to garner for himself is clearly what he lacked for the 8-year-old child he raped and murdered.
So I've got to determine, as part of my job, when all is said and done here, do I think Mike's done? This is it, he's made his mistake, he realizes how wrong the mistake that he made, and he's willing to look past it? Or do I have to sit here and say, all right, my report's
it's
going to
okay.
stay very simple, I think this guy's
He's-
going to reoffend. And that's what our job is, we deal with these types of situations and the reasons why.
They don't put up with that. All I gotta say is they don't put up with that shit in prisons. Any of them. They do not put up with any of that shit. This motherfucker has a target on his head the rest of his life. And rightfully so, you fucking little... Absolute worst... Absolute, like, worst type of being in human existence. In my opinion. That is the worst type of human being.
Why people do this stuff, okay? Like I say, this may have been a thing that you just snapped and did something. That stuff happens. Or it may have been something you planned for many months and got some enjoyment out of the plan.
I
okay?
didn't do anything.
Well, that's not entirely true either.
That is
okay?
entirely true.
No.
I
What?
didn't do anything.
No, you can
Oh,
try
he's
and
piece of
cement
weird. I
yourself into
fucking
that,
hate this already.
okay? But at the same time, you're not doing yourself any good by not being truthful here, okay?
The investigator wants to come across as empathetic and understanding, yet still needs to keep the suspect's confidence low. He watches for denials and stops them immediately. Letting the
Good.
suspect deny his guilt will only increase his morale, thus increase his psychological endurance and constancy for self-preservation. This needs to be stripped away as much as possible, as early as possible.
Because by not being truthful, all you have left is your credibility, Mike. That's all you have left, okay? You're not the only person who's been arrested and charged, okay? And there's no surprises left anymore, okay? It's not even a surprise, it's why this happened.
I'm also not the only innocent person who's ever been arrested and charged.
Well,
What?
that's true. There's been
What,
people
bro?
that have been arrested for things where there's no evidence, but unfortunately in this case, there's lots of evidence to determine your role in this crime, okay?
Yeah,
The girl
buddy.
This guy.
who's on the video who walks away with Tori has been identified, and she's been identified as her and Tori being in your car. And the three of you and her and Tori, go to the Guelph area, go to the Home Depot, okay? And the grabbing of Tori, there was a planned event that you were gonna grab her, you're gonna grab a girl. But this other person was going to do it, and the other person got the girl, put her in your car, all right? And then there's other steps that are taken from there.
Why would she even
There's
help
things
though?
that
This is
happen
just
to
weird.
people, there's things that happen outside of Guelph, and there's things that happen to Tori, all right? Before she's gone, and you're involved in that, and you can't.
Who
you
knows
can't
why
match
she
it,
would
you
help?
can't change it, okay?
No.
Because what's happened has happened. I can't turn back the hands of time, and neither can you, okay? There's nothing I can do to turn back the hands of time and say, I wish Mike would have reacted to this situation a little bit differently, okay? There's no doubt in my mind, okay? There's no doubt in my mind that you're involved in the abduction, okay, of Tori. No doubt in my mind at all. I followed the evidence, I've read the file, okay? There's no doubt in my mind. We're past that, okay? And the only concern or the issue that I have is
Trying to
why
get all the
what caused
details.
you to do this? Was it something you, like I say, is this something you've done before, and you've been involved in the death of other people, and you enjoyed this? Am I sitting across the desk from Paul Bernardo here? Am I sitting across from someone who's made a mistake?
No, he's
Okay?
laughing.
And that's gonna be the question that's asked of you, all right?
I
Good
actually,
luck if there's-
I take that back. I don't think he's laughing. I think when he said that, he broke down even more and started crying even more.
Exactly. You gotta get sick.
I don't
believe
think it was
sir.
lying. I don't think it was
I've
laughing.
seen it before, you're not gonna offend me or bother me, so if you gotta be sick, Mike, go right ahead. We'll get you some paper towels or something. If you feel like you're gonna be sick, just grab I'll have the bucket there handy for you, okay? Just leave it right there. You and I need to have a discussion. This isn't a parking ticket, okay? This is reality, okay? And people are, I've already told you, you know this. People assume the worst until they know the truth, okay? And people are going to assume the worst of you, unless you and I sit here and clarify it. Okay, something's pushed you to do this. Okay, you don't.
How
you
about
can't
being a
just point it
fucking
out your
weirdo?
entire life, okay, Mike? It doesn't happen. It's
How
not
about being
fair.
a fucking
I'm not
weirdo?
gonna sit and
That's
tell you
probably
that
what pushed him.
something brings this on. When you sit and talk to someone who had a troubled life like Michael Briere and just gets pushed into doing this, and
This guy is
thinks,
fucking-
what would it be like to take a kid and touch and rub a kid,
Phew.
and then
Dude.
wish you could stop, okay? And people can't, and that's the whole issue here, all right?
The detective seems to be almost rambling here, but this is a common strategy used to keep the suspect's mind racing. When Rafferty is concentrating on what the detective is saying,
I'm
it
trying to
doesn't
fix
give
this
him a
fucking
chance to
blanket real quick,
conjure up
chat.
his own thoughts, making it very hard for him to either think up a lie or disassociate from the situation altogether. It's a
Okay.
methodical process of breaking a suspect down through mental exhaustion and slowly chipping away at his psychological stamina piece by piece.
I see.
We can't control every emotion, all right? We can't control some of our urges, some of our thoughts. None of us can, okay? And I can't look
What?
in your face and say I haven't made a mistake or made a bad decision in life, because I have. But the reality of it is, you and I have to accept that and move on, okay? Because I can walk out there and never see you again. Like, I can do that, right? My job here is done. The job here is done, as you'll find out tomorrow, as
Yeah,
things start to
Fucking.
be released.
Yeah,
There is
bitch.
no more
You'll
questions.
find
There's no
out
more
tomorrow,
long
buddy.
Investigations. They're already sending people home to spend time with their families, okay? They're scaling back what's happened because it's been cleared and they know what's happened. And the pieces of evidence have been gathered. So that's reality. I can't downplay that. But you and I need to walk out of here together, okay? With what happened here. You and I have to sit and say, this is what pushed Mike over the top. This is what pushed Mike to get involved in something like this. Because if I don't, then you sit here on your own and you have to take it. Okay, and is that necessarily fair? All right?
I have to sit here on my own anyways and take this.
To an extent you do, yes. You have to sit there and decide, am I
Oh
going
no,
to
poor
get rid of
him.
this
Jesus
kid?
I
Christ.
know, that's what I'm saying, bro.
Decide, or am I
Literally
gonna sit
thinking the
there
same
and
exact
put it up
shit.
and
Like,
keep it
oh,
for the rest of my life?
oh no. You have to deal with this all by
You need to be
yourself.
realistic about this, okay? You have no
About-
battle plan. deal with this, right? It's happened, it's spun out of control, and you're thinking, okay, if I ever get caught for it, what am I gonna do? Well, your plan isn't gonna work, okay? Because you're not built for this shit. This isn't what you're about, okay? You're not some sick bastard, right? That sits there and gets enjoyment out of hurting people, all right? So now you have to live with this, okay? And to live with it, one of the first ways, right? It's like if someone's an alcoholic, what's the first thing they have to do? Acknowledge they got the issue, all right? You have an issue here in that there's overwhelming evidence, compelling evidence that indicates you're involved in what's happened to Tori, okay? And I can't change that and you can't change that at this stage. But you need to be honest and you need to understand your credibility, Mike, is all you have left. All you have left in your mind is your credibility. And you sitting here saying nothing doesn't do you a bit of good because no one's gonna know. And then all of a sudden, 10 years from now or 5 years from now, you decide to say something, who's gonna listen? Nobody, okay? This is
Nobody.
Your chance to say your piece, all right? Like I say, if you want, and you can see probably I'm trying not to out of respect actually for you, but I can sit and get as graphic as I want, okay? Because none of this stuff bothers me because I've seen it hundreds of times, okay? But if I sit and go over what's happened here with Tori, you may not be real happy about it because it's going to cause you to relive all this crap, okay? And maybe you want to, because I can tell you I've sat with guys that wanted me to say it again so they could hear what they've accomplished. And I've had that, where they want me to say it 2 and 3 times because they get a rush out of that.
Jesus fucking Christ,
You're not
bro.
some sick guy.
Jesus.
Okay? I'm not sitting
This guy's seen
across
some
from
shit.
Paul Bernardo,
Fuck.
okay? I know that. And I know people that have sat across
Holy.
from him, okay? And I know 2 officers that have in different stages of their lives, okay? And I know what he's all about. You're not that guy.
You're not that
But at
guy,
the same
pal.
time, you can't
You're
just
not
sit
that
here
guy,
and
pal.
say, well, this is the way. This isn't
Oh,
the list
yeah,
that
X.
gives you to say, here's a list of things to do. Can you go pick up a few things at the grocery store for me and get some gas? This isn't what that is, okay? This is a lot more serious than a to-do list. We need to deal with reality. And the reality of it is your credibility is all you have left at this point. If you sit there and say nothing, everybody's going to assume the worst, okay? And you may be painted with a picture that you're not real happy with, okay? And I'm the only one that feels like sitting in here with you, right? There's no investigators lined up in here sitting with you. Why do you think that is? Right? Because they've been working at this for weeks, okay? They're tired and they've been away from their families and none of them want to come in here and talk to you, okay? I have no issue with it. I'm neutral. I don't have these issues. I haven't been away from my family. I don't mind talking to you, Mike. I've talked to people that have been involved in things far worse than what they're saying you did. Far worse, okay? And this is a list of things that I've been involved in. People have done things that have been a threat to our national security, terrorism in Canada. Or I've dealt with people that have been involved in murdering more than 3 people, all right? I've been involved with people who have abducted and taken the life of children. I've been involved in it. I've dealt with many people who are sex offenders that habitually and repeatedly touch and molest children. I've dealt with that. It does.
Holy
bother me,
fucking
okay?
shit.
But what's going on here is that you're just in there, you're just a big bundle of nerves, and you don't know what to do. You don't know whether to sit here, shake, shit, puke, you don't know what to do. But the reality of it is, at the end of the day, the evidence is the evidence, okay? And the evidence clearly shows you're responsible for the abduction of Tori, okay? And I also know that she's no longer with us, okay? And you're responsible for that too, okay? And there's a sexual component to this as well. So you might want to sit and get this off your chest and go through your side with me, all right?
Absolutely
Because if I
huge for
just
this
walk
guy.
away, at minimum, that's what people are going to think, at minimum. But you have some explaining to do, okay? That's reality. I can't change that, okay? If this is something that got out of control, that you just planned on taking her and you thought you were going to put her back, or just take her for a ride, that's fine. If it got out of hand, then we need to talk about that, okay? You need to sit and explain that and say why, okay? If not, then I say people think the worst.
Tim Hortons coffee isn't that
until
good.
they know.
Their hot cocoa's good
There
though.
is no other way. You don't have any other option.
The fuck is
Nothing
Tim
else that
Hortons
you can
coffee?
do to change what's happened to her. We can't
McDonald's
turn
coffee
back
better.
time. However, we can explain how things
The fuck
got
is
off the rails.
McDonald's?
Something that happened slowly or just went right off the rails right from the beginning. Why do you think the OPP has a behavioral sciences section? This is all the stuff that we deal with, okay? We deal with occurrences that are unusual. We deal with situations that aren't
When does he start
regular
self-incriminating now?
situations, and that's not what this is. This isn't a regular
We still got a while,
situation.
honestly. We're only,
Couple
what,
people
30
have made
minutes
a
in?
series of decisions that
30
hopefully
minutes
they
in.
understand aren't quite right, and that they feel bad about. I don't think that you're some kind of monster. If I did, you'll find me pretty candid. You'll find that I'll come right out and tell you, Mike. Okay? I don't think that. Okay? I think this got out of control. I think it got out of hand. Okay? Are you some kind of monster? Or did you make a mistake here?
Is there zapping?
You made a mistake, right? This is a mistake, right, Mike? You'd take it back if you could. This is a mistake, right, Mike? You'd take it back.
Come on, Mike.
If you could turn back the hands of time, Mike, would you do this a little bit different?
He's about to get him right here.
Talking to you. If you could turn back the hands of time, you're not some monster. You made a mistake, right? You'd take this back if you could. This is a mistake, Mike. You need to deal with this.
I am
Okay,
no
we
monster,
I know
but
you're
I
not a
did
monster.
not do what you think
No,
I did.
I know you did. We're past that. Okay,
No.
we're past that, Mike. Okay.
Mm-mm.
I know
He's
you're
gonna
not
have a tantrum. Uh-oh.
You did. If I thought you were a monster, I would tell you. I'm gonna be honest with you. I wouldn't just walk out. I would spend some time with you. If I thought you were a monster, just because I want to see what makes you tick, you're not a monster. All right.
Dude, this
Shouldn't-
fucking
shouldn't have to look
detective
at you,
is
right?
holy
You
shit.
barely eat or drink. You haven't touched your donut, right? Why is that?
I don't
Because
think
your
I'd be
guts
able
are
to do that
eating
job.
yourself up inside. Okay. You can't sit and say that you're innocent and did all. What's the first thing you did when you got in here? You just laid down and curled up, right?
And
It's
cried
all
like a
over.
fucking
You know it's
bitch.
over, okay? You know it's done. Okay? You don't have to be an expert in body language. All you've done is lay
Give him a
around in
donut?
fetal
Yeah.
position since you've been here. That's not how innocent people act. That's not how people that are falsely accused of something act. It's
It
the
couldn't be
last
that
thing
it's
they do.
possibly that it's
It's the last
freezing. I
thing.
haven't eaten since noon. It couldn't be that this is all just a huge shock to me. No, it
Yes.
couldn't have been any of that at all.
It's probably all of that, but it's also the fact that you're involved in it. It's probably all of that, Mike. Okay, the fact that maybe you haven't eaten that much and maybe you are cold. There's no question. The first thing you said to me was you're cold and hungry, so that's why I grabbed you that stuff. Okay, and I'm willing to accept that. Maybe that is part of the issue. Okay, but there is a larger issue here. Okay, and it's
Yeah.
the issue of the evidence, and the issue that you're involved in this. Okay, and we can't change that. I have
What's up,
no
cat? You want to go outside?
Boo-hoo, he's cold.
ill will, anger.
Oh, I'm cold. You want to go outside, cat? Here you go. Oh, I'm cold. Oh, shut the fuck up, bitch. I don't give a fuck, Mike.
Or
You needed a
you
blanket.
don't,
Jesus.
You don't make me mad. You
Needs
don't
a
upset me,
blankie.
nothing like that. Okay. The only issue I have is I don't fully understand.
Pops. Pops.
I volunteered here to come here and shoot the shit with you because I've talked to people in worse situations than you. Okay. And like you say, you've been pretty respectful with me. You're not giving me a hard time. You're not being rude to me. So I'll sit with you because. But,
They
you
tell the
reality of it is I
they
can walk away
abducted and killed the
you're gonna
child.
sit and deal with this on your own for the rest of your
Him
life.
and some other girl.
You're a smart guy. You're nobody's fool. You know the situation. You know you're in a tough spot.
Dude, this
And
fucking
again, this is your opportunity to say your
being a
piece.
detective like that would be
But
fucking
you got some pretty
intense,
serious
man.
explaining to do here,
And our
okay?
word, but
In the big picture. Now, without me, if I just leave you here, you got some stuff that you need to explain. I've acknowledged already what my thoughts are of you. Okay, I've told you that from the beginning that this is out of character for you. Okay, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's why you don't want to talk. Because maybe you're thinking, you know what, Chris, you're wrong. You know, maybe I've done this before. Maybe I plan on doing it again. All right. I don't think that, but I mean, you could be sitting here playing me, right? How the hell would I know? Okay. I can tell you that I don't think that's the case because I've sat across from a lot of people, again, that have been through stuff a lot worse than you.
come on,
I made a
man.
mistake, man. We deal with it and we move on.
When is it gonna crack?
Yeah, I'm concerned that you're just gonna sit here and, oh well, we take a chance. Maybe I'll just leave it and it'll all work itself out. Well past that, Mike. This is not gonna work itself out. Okay, we're past that. You need to acknowledge what's caused you to do this. And I never said for a second that you went and took that kid from the school, because you didn't. But that kid was taken from that school, all right, by Terry and put in your car, okay? And you were there, and you were part of when the kid was driven to Guelph, okay, in the Home Depot. And then from there, the kid, into the demise of the kid. This is the stuff we need to explain. Nobody can control your destiny now but you, okay? I can. I mean, I already told you, I've already put my cards on the table.
Oh, he's finally talking.
This is your chance, man. Do you not think you're gonna feel better getting some of this off your chest as opposed to keeping it there forever? You know what I mean? I'll sit with you and do this. There's no issues with it at all. Like I say, I have no problem sitting with you, man. Why don't we just find a starting point and we'll do it? Because you're gonna sit and stew forever. Say, no, I should have said this or shouldn't I have said that, right? It's up to you. I mean, I've got situations where I wish I'd have told somebody something and I didn't. Okay? And it's situations with family members where you should have said your piece or you should have kept your mouth shut. But we all have those experiences. But this is your chance to say your piece. All right? I think you and I should take that chance. I think you and I should just sit and have that discussion. How is it going to get worse? Right? It can't.
It literally
Obviously,
can't get
to an
worse.
extent, someone's put you in this position, right? We need to deal with that.
You want me to tell you things I didn't do so I can get locked up for the rest of my life for this?
No, that's not. I don't want you to tell me things you did not do. No, I'm going to ask you a question. What's
This
your
guy.
biggest fear or your biggest concern now that you've been charged with this? What's your biggest concern here?
Losing my life.
Wait, they're way past that though.
Yeah, of course they're way past that.
I want to know what this girl Terry said.
Okay. She acknowledges that she grabbed Tori and brought her to your car. That it was your wishes. You sent her there with certain things that you were looking for in a victim, and she took her.
Oh,
You
yikes.
guys drove on the highway and did the Home Depot thing, which I talked about. Left the Home Depot, went to a secluded area. You had sexual relations with Tori, and Tori was killed.
Lines up pretty well, doesn't it,
This
buddy?
is your time, man. This is as good as it gets.
Jesus fucking Christ.
All right, this is it. And
It's a lot, man.
I mean, I can get into more detail if you want.
It's really a
Not
lot
sure
to
that's
hear.
a
I
great way of
really hope he
saying
doesn't get into
what
more
the
detail.
allegations are. But if there's stuff, if there's other people here.
Tactic? Tactic?
Uh-oh.
How long was he left there?
What's happening, man?
Is this a new guy?
Time for the clapping now?
Oh no, it's the same guy.
What's this process? What happens?
What happens next?
You go to
Go
jail
to
for
jail,
life.
dude. Forever.
Forever. Exactly. The rest of your
To yourself.
existence.
Tomorrow morning, you'll have what's
Actually, it won't be the rest of your
brought into
existence, though.
court, and the charges will be read to you again. And there'll be a discussion.
It's not going to be the rest of his
Custody
existence.
For bail, and then they may schedule a bail hearing to determine that. And then from there, it's a matter of where it goes from the courts. The investigation will go on for a little while yet. There's a couple of things that, as I told you, there need to be done. And then in the big picture, you're facing these charges. The reality of it is we can just sit and deal with the issue here, just as easy.
I'd rather deal with this yesterday in court.
The suspect remains unyielding after 95 minutes of psychological pressure, so the investigators commence the next stage of the interrogation.
Punch
They
him.
initiate the Mutt and Jeff technique, most commonly known in pop culture as good cop, bad cop.
Hey, Seth, how are you?
Mutt and Jeff. I like Mutt and Jeff
Wanted
way
to
more.
see what Terry Lynn had to say. Mike, Terry Lynn's still speaking to my partner, okay? This is the girl you killed, all right? She's not missing anymore. She's dead. Terry Lynn was asked today if she wanted to call a lawyer 4 times. She said no, all 4 times. She went through 2 boxes of Kleenex. All right? She says on the 8th of April, Wednesday the 8th of April 2009, at 3:30 in the afternoon, you drop her off at Pavey, south of Fife, south of the public school, where Tori walks out of. You tell her to get a girl and you want her young. She walks up the street. You drive up to the old age home where you park your car. She walks up to Tori. Tori's nice to her. She trusts her. She holds her hand for a little bit. She walks up the street with her. Terry Lynn tells her about her little dog, gets her across the street to your car, opens the back door. Tori doesn't like it anymore. She pushes her in the car. You start driving. She says she's freaking out. She says she's worried about you. She's scared about what you're going to do. She says you guys hit the 401. You start driving to Guelph. You park outside a house. You go in for a little while. You come out with some drugs, she thinks. And you drive to the Home Depot. You park at the end of the parking lot. You tell her it's her turn to get out of the car. You tell her to go in there, you give her some cash because you don't want to use your debit card so you don't track it. She goes in there, she gets garbage bags like she's told to do, and she comes back out.
Jesus
And
fucking
you go
Christ.
driving. And you pull into a farmer's field, right across from a house, to the point where you're even asking her if anybody can see you. And what does she do? She says she goes for a walk. She doesn't want to see what happens. And then she comes back. And you're not sitting in the front seat anymore, Mike. You're sitting in the back seat. And she's not liking what she sees. So she walks away again. Then she comes back. And you make her hold one of those garbage bags while you put some of your clothes, her jacket, and a hammer in the garbage bag. Then you drive to a gas station. She never sees Tori again. You drive to that gas station, you get out, you wash up, you dump the bag. You drive back to Woodstock. That's Terry Lynn's story, Mike.
Jot that down or what?
That's Terry Lynn's story while she bawls her eyes out through 2 boxes of Kleenex. And I ask her 4 times, hey, you want to call a lawyer? She says, I don't need to call a lawyer. I feel so bad about what happened. I just want to tell you all about it. That's what you're up against.
Terry Lynn's a liar.
Well, you're the only person that can tell us that, bud.
Ugh.
He just did.
You gotta be careful, like, 'cause some
Uh-oh.
she said, back by,
Damn.
Keep applying the fucking
Been pretty
pressure
good
to
now.
him, please.
Now he's gonna mold what she's saying. The truth.
are verified.
I hope they keep applying the fucking pressure, man.
That's what our graphic said. Yeah, there is some stuff that she says that is true, there's no question. I'm not gonna say it's not.
How old are you, Mike? 28 years old? You want to tell us your side of the story? Get rid of your fucking security blanket and start being a man.
Damn. Okay.
Because it's not going to be her
Keep
seat
applying the
to be
fucking
found in
pressure.
her body. When we look at the areas underneath the parts of the seat that you cut out, we're going to find her blood. Do you know how blood works? Do you know about red blood cells, white blood cells? White blood cells are thinner. They look like spit when they're separated from red blood cells. They're the ones that seep through into the foam. That's what we get the DNA from. Skin cells from her rubbing up and down against your seats in your car. Tori Stafford is all over your car. All over it. And Terry Lynn explains everything that she knows we're going to find. You're explaining nothing. So I don't give a fuck if you say one more word to tell you the truth.
Right, we're done then.
Well, I'm done with you anyway.
Okay.
This officer here is trying to understand what the hell you're going through. I don't care.
Who are you?
I'm the lead investigator here.
Okay.
Okay?
Terry Lynn's full of shit.
Well,
Oh, full of shit,
that's
huh?
going to be a funny thing for you to say in court, isn't it?
No.
Because how's the DNA going to be full of shit, Mike? Huh? How's the biologist from the Center for Forensic Sciences going to be full of shit? How's the pathologist that examines her body going to be full of shit? Explain that to me.
Buddy.
I'll be careful, Mike, that's a dangerous road to go up. But there's something you and I can clarify with what she said, then let's clarify it. But we can't just sit here with a blanket statement that she's full of shit, because there is some things that's truthful. And by you saying that makes it,
I like how I said blanket. With a blanket. We can't just be sitting here with a blanket statement. You said blanket statement together, but we can't just be sitting here with a blanket like a bitch.
takes away your credibility, so we gotta be very careful with that.
I'm done with him.
Yeah.
This officer's got his job to do, Mike. He's got a different job than I do. For my investigation, you keeping your mouth shut is the best thing can happen. So keep on keeping it shut.
Okay.
Yeah, buddy.
And
fucking
he has the
rolled.
luxury
The behind
to give
good cop,
attitude.
bad cop is known as the fear, then relief response. It's believed that when the immediate shift from one emotion to the next is so extreme, a suspect can become disoriented, and their ability to think critically can be affected. This specific state of disorientation makes compliance more likely, as the rapid
Okay.
change of emotion can evoke the feeling of uncertainty, and a suspect's positive response to an oncoming request is a form of coping with this uncertainty. This is of course not a guaranteed system, and a suspect will not always respond in the desired manner.
Well, I know more than I told you anyway.
He's full of cope.
Wasn't quite as eloquent as I would have put it, but anyways. At the same time, what he's saying is right. Like I did watch what she was saying, and she was very emotional. There's no question. And she did go through Kleenex. There's no question of that.
No Washington.
She was upset, and there's stuff that she said that it was clearly known ahead of time. It was said that
I hope we get to see court.
her saying it later proved out to be confirmed other ways. So don't.
I'm on my time, buddy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Can't say don't. You do whatever the hell you want.
That's not how this works, though.
Careful going up that road. Anyways, but like I said, I have no issues with that. That doesn't change my opinion, our discussion, to be quite honest. I mean, they got their opinions, and obviously they're getting sick of listening
You
to
can't
us.
in Canada?
So they come in and said their piece, but like I say, I've got no, I'm not pissed with you. I'm not,
Why not?
but like I say, this is your chance.
There's only 20 minutes of this left.
To say your piece. And, I'm sitting there willing to listen to it.
Why did it just burn?
He just told me not to say anything more, so.
That's up to you. So you don't.
Ah.
That's what he said, though,
You
so.
don't
I
want to talk
see.
to him, but that's fine. I'm still.
So is that-
listening to you. See what your thoughts are there.
And he's really trying to get anything, to be honest.
Why?
Because of the officer, because of what the lawyer said, now it's everything. I just don't.
What do you think's gonna happen next?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
I hate that XQC has subtitles on.
Someone runs in here and starts barking.
Starts barking.
Parking?
You just want me to say whatever. You just want me to say things. So it's open and closed.
No.
So it's over and done with.
It's
That's
already
it.
done
That's
with,
how it
bro.
is. Nothing more to talk about.
It's already over with.
No, actually, because you know, actually, that's fair. That's a very fair statement, actually. But I gotta tell you, in this case, it's not. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm compelled and I'm interested to listen to what you have to say. But does it open and shut this case? No.
The case is already shut.
Why?
I'm not talking anymore.
Welcome.
I've already told you why.
Just because of all the different angles and all that.
I just don't feel comfortable talking about it.
Oh no.
Oh, not comfortable
So you're prepared then
with
to
your
leave
little
it like this?
blankie.
You're gonna ride it out from here, see where it goes.
Not comfy with your blankie.
You think that's the best way to do it?
I don't know. I've never been in this chair before. I don't know.
Well, you've never been in either one of those chairs before, you fucking idiot.
Any questions of me?
No shot. No shot that that's what they get out of this guy.
Need something to eat?
Ask for some to eat, bro.
Care if I need something.
Why would you say that?
You don't.
But that would have given him a
Wouldn't ask,
donut.
I didn't care.
You didn't eat it.
Your job.
Nope. I could have walked out. I don't have to ask you because you got a donut right here. Right?
Ooh, that chair
Now
though.
that it is, I know that you're gonna go back and sit and sleep or do whatever for a
Jesus.
while. You'd be better to do it on a full stomach. That's all it is to it, man. I don't have to ask you if you want food, but I am prepared to get you food.
Guys, this is a dumb question, but I have to ask it. Why is the equipment so rudimentary? Where's the good chair that's ergonomic? Where's the desk? What is this bullshit? What is it? What is this room?
Where's the camera? The good camera.
This is how he must have been feeling. Oh, he drank his tea. This is how he must be feeling.
Canada
Forget about
isn't
this starting.
socialism.
You're reading too much into it, man. No, that's not what it is at all. I offer you something to eat because I thought if you're hungry, you can eat. I don't care if you eat it or not,
isn't going anywhere in any of your reports
What's that?
that I ate or not ate.
What?
It's on the video. It doesn't
Why
matter.
the
You're
fuck
not
would they
operating on
care?
the report.
Yeah,
My
I'll
report
cut it
doesn't
off
say
for
we ate
them,
or
but
not.
for him, he
My
works there.
report says what we
His
document.
back is suffering.
This is a very intriguing moment of the interrogation, as the suspect's state of mind seems to be in two places at once. He is undoubtedly clinging on to hope, made evident by his outright refusal to admit involvement, yet he still has situational awareness. He knows deep down that his act isn't being bought, giving reason for his guilt in requesting food. He would have been starving at this moment, yet his primary concern was how he would be perceived while eating. He is caught between wanting to satisfy his hunger and trying to appear so guilt-ridden by the circumstances that he doesn't even care about his hunger.
No, like I say, it's your appetite at this point doesn't matter, really. I come in here, I sat to explain to you what the evidence was, had a discussion. Actually, I don't think there's any animosity between us. So we had a discussion about what the case facts are, and that was it. So it doesn't matter to me if you eat or not, but it was a legitimate offer. And if you want something, I'll arrange for you to get it. There's no issues that way. But you read too much into it, man.
What?
You want something to eat?
I need something to eat, yes.
Alright. We'll get you something to eat. Look at me. Take it easy.
Ew. Shook his fucking gross ass hand.
In reality, no food was coming. The
Oh,
suspect had it right when he stated that the investigator didn't care about his hunger, and he wasn't about to go out of his way
bitch.
to get a takeaway meal for a child killer.
Good.
The Mutt and Jeff technique, although very well executed, was
Good.
unsuccessful on this occasion.
54 minutes later.
50 minutes.
Hey, Mike. I'm a pretty get down to the facts kind of guy. I'm sure you've realized that from our brief encounter earlier, right? This is not rocket science.
Actually, my cam's okay there. It doesn't
About
cover
what Terry
X's
Lynn
face.
just told me this afternoon. And I've got you.
Oh, X, don't
This
leave.
is your opportunity. Terry Lynn's sitting right here. Tell us she's a liar. You've had no problem at saying without her in the room.
Tyler's a liar.
That's what you're hoping.
That's what you're hoping.
I'm not even looking at her. I don't need to look at her. You haven't been looking at anyone. I don't need to look at anyone else.
See, Mike, I know what I was right when I walked in here, okay? And I'm not gonna pull any punches here, okay? I'm not gonna try and kiss your ass, alright?
Okay.
Detective Smith's behavior in the following moments is not associated with any
Dude,
techniques nor
I need
strategies.
to go cut my
He
hair,
knows
bro.
the
This shit is
suspect's
bothering me.
inclination is virtually set and unlikely to be influenced any further from this point onward.
Damn.
The following onslaught doesn't have any tactical purposes related to the investigation. The detective has understandably become emotionally invested in the case and proceeds to give the prime suspect the psychological grilling he deserves.
I mean, let's face it,
Fuck yes.
I'm a cop, alright? And the last 5 weeks, I've been trying to find out who killed an 8-year-old girl. Okay? And I know the guys from behavioral sciences, they got their thing, they're trying to understand why that's what they do.
You guys all work together.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, no
They're
shit.
good people. They know their job very well. And sure as hell, I'd like to know why. Right? I'd like to think that we don't have people walking around our communities who just because they're bored on an afternoon say, hey, why don't we grab that girl and rape and murder her? Okay? I'd like to think that we live in a community where people think a little bit more about what they're going to do than that. Do you think you're coming off as an innocent guy? Do you think you're looking like somebody who's
Fuck
been
no,
wrongfully
he's not.
accused here?
You're gonna see it however you want to see it. My lawyer, or the lawyer, instructed me to just say,
I know, Mike, I know what your lawyer
Simply-
instructed you to say, but that doesn't make you an innocent man. That makes you a man who's saying, holy fuck, what am I gonna do now?
nothing I do is gonna change your opinion. So I might as well just follow the lawyer's advice.
Well, you're right there, Mike. Nothing you do is going to get you walking out of this police station tonight without being charged with murdering Tori Stafford. You're right.
Alright, man, let's see if we can finally finish this fucking video.
You know how
God.
much media coverage this
So
has.
many interruptions.
You know what the newspapers are going to do with this and to your family tomorrow. Okay? You think the cops are going to be talking to everybody you ever spoke to in your life? That's nothing compared to what the media is going to be doing. This is a huge story for them. This is the next Paul Bernardo. Whether you like it or not, a girl and a guy kidnapping an 8-year-old girl and murdering her. That's one of the most sensational things that have happened in this province since Bernardo and Carla. It's going to be a frenzy, and you and I both know that.
Whew. Jesus Christ.
You know what a psychopath is, Mike?
Whew, yeah, it was a big case.
I just think tonight.
Yeah, it was
I
really
just find
bad.
it funny how you can go full sure on something when you don't know.
Oh, Mike, when somebody tells me that they were present when a man killed an 8-year-old girl.
Right. Somebody told you that.
Mm-hmm. She did.
Okay.
When that happens, okay, we don't say, oh well, maybe after we go golfing for the week, we'll go and see Mike and see what he has to say. That's not the way it works.
No, so let's just pick him up and then say, yep, you did it. Because that's obviously got to be the right way to go about things.
Is this guy fucking brain dead? Oh, wait, he is. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
So
The
the
festive
last thing
music
I
is
covered off
crazy.
with everybody I talk to in situations like this, Mike, is pretty straightforward. Okay. Rodney Stafford and Terry McDonald have to be notified about this. First question out of their mouth is going to be what? Did they say why they did it?
I'm sure one of those two will have the answer for you. Why somebody would do it.
What?
Huh?
What are you getting at, Mike? What are you throwing out there for me, buddy?
It doesn't matter. You're gonna talk to them anyways.
Ugh!
Mike,
That way,
if
that
you're
is
saying
weird.
you have no involvement whatsoever. Don't play games with me and throw out little hints and see
Nope.
what comes of
There's
it.
no game, there's no little
Okay?
hints.
There's nobody involved in this except for you and Terry Lynn.
Jesus Christ.
Don't get it? I think he's saying that the fact that he thinks that the child looked nice or like,
We're done.
Is that what you said to Tori before you killed her? We're done?
Funny
you don't think so?
Funny man. That's what you think this is funny
I
man?
think you're a funny man.
I think you're a cold-blooded killer. Because you and I haven't spent too much more time now than you forced Tori Stafford to spend in your car. You could have let her out anywhere along that route.
I'm not laughing that I laugh.
You could have killed her without sexually assaulting her. And that's what I wanted to sit across from tonight. See what it's like to sit across from a guy who, when he abducts an 8-year-old girl, is so turned on by it that before he kills her, he has to have sex with her. So if you ask me why I'm sitting in this room, I'm sitting in this room for Tori. Making you squirm, putting you through some of the grief that you put her through.
Dude.
That's why I'm in here, Mike. And I'm having a good time. You are a sick puppy, Michael. Eight years old, Mike. 8 years old, buddy. All she wanted to do was go home and have a little party for her friends because her mom just redecorated her room for her. That's pure evil, bud. And is exactly what the judge is going to see.
What do you think he's gonna get saved by lawyer Andy?
Remorse. No empathy. No nothing. You're just hollow. The nice thing about the place you're gonna be spending a good chunk of your life is they actually have glass cells. So you and Bernardo can make googly eyes at each other all day, whatever you guys do.
Okay.
For what?
So it's nice meeting you, Mikey. Enjoy the rest of your life. This is the kind of room you're gonna be spending it in.
Fucking rolled. 3 years later.
And it was all for this little girl right here. Not just Tori, but for every little child in Canada that doesn't deserve what happened to her.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. 31-year-old Michael Rafferty has been found guilty of murdering, kidnapping, and sexually assaulting 8-year-old Tori Stafford. It's been nearly 10 very long weeks of trial in London,
I thought you were gonna say
which
years.
is where Laura
Yeah, I thought they were
Zilke has
gonna say
been
years,
covering this
too.
story since the very beginning.
In the courtroom, when the verdict was read out, there was a collective sigh of yes for each time one of those guilty verdicts was read out through friends and family. That came with the reading of each verdict. Guilty of first degree, guilty of abduction, and guilty of sexual assault. Lawyers from both sides of the story came out to speak with us as well. Their reaction, everyone appreciating that justice was done here, and every one of them also thanking the work that the jury had to do for having to sit through this case for, as you mentioned, Carolyn, almost 10 weeks.
It's been a long and difficult trial for everybody. The trial is finally over, so that's a good thing. But the verdict means that
Is
the
this a
jury
priest?
has found that Michael Rafferty did kidnap, sexually assault, and murder Victoria Stafford, and our thoughts are with Victoria's family.
Is it a hard decision for you to take cases like this?
It's never easy, but honestly, I mean, somebody has to.
Oh, they
make
have to
this.
wear something like
I get
that,
asked that question
I
more
guess.
often than almost anything else. How can you do a case like this? How can you defend such a person? The reality of it is that everybody in our system
Or maybe
deserves
he's the
a
lawyer.
proper and effective defense.
Even before going into the courtroom, there was really a sense of excitement. I think a lot of the family.
Guys,
thought-
this is a
He's the
weird question.
lawyer.
Does that not make his record bad? Guys, don't say no. That's how it works. It's important.
Okay,
I mean,
there's
it's not
the
for
music
it's
on
how
there.
it works. Does that make his record look bad? Like he took a big L?
thought
I mean,
that
not
because
really.
the
That case
verdict
wasn't.
would
There
come
was
so
no.
quickly,
There was no saving that case.
just over a day of deliberations, they truly believed that this was going to be a guilty verdict. Then going into the courtroom, that simply continued. The relief that went over this, it was really almost unbelievable to hear the sighs.
I'm
that
sorry,
went
it's
through
just a chat. People said elbozo to that.
in that courtroom.
I don't know, dude.
Both Michael Rafferty and Terry Lynn McClintock were sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for 25 years.
They still get possible parole though after 25.
I don't like the possible parole thing,
Reposo.
especially for certain things. I feel like that should not be a whatever. All right. Well, that was intense. Jesus fuck. Make sure to go subscribe to XQC and JCS.